Here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome back to another edition of, I'm trying to remember the number, I think it's 143 of Show Tuesday. Yeah, geez, I don't know, random numbers. Believe them if you will. Kanpai with my morning, really low quality latte from Kumejima. And Maya, what are you sipping and where are you?
I'm sitting on my couch in my living room in Kagoshima, and I'm having some green vegetable juice, fruit juice, whatever. It's 10 o'clock.
Green vegetable
green
juice.
green
Okay,
juice.
so
Green juice.
is that what's it called? Aojiru?
No, it's I don't know, seikatsu whatever, jujitsu something. It's whatever.
Oh, I see. Comes in
It's
a bottle.
comes in a bottle. Yeah,
Gotcha.
it's green.
Okay.
Doesn't
Well,
taste
how
like
health?
too much like tomatoes, so it's better.
Which is the key. All right, we got Mark Carlson saying he he's finishing off a bottle of SG Emo and he's about to
Ooh,
open the Kome next. All right. Baller. Um,
that's exciting.
excellent. Um, well, thank you to Mark for joining us. Everybody else who um, is joining us from either Facebook and you or YouTube, and anyone who joins us in the future when they watch this on archive. Today's episode is going to focus soon on quote unquote spring shochu. But before we get there, I think we should kind of bust over to. Oh, you know what I should do before we even do any of that? I'm in Kumejima, and I kind of just want to
Oh,
share for people like where I am. Kumejima, of course, is in Okinawa for the uninitiated, and I'm gonna just step outside the balcony and
are we gonna lose your signal?
which doesn't suck.
What a terrible place to
Is it?
be. Terrible place to be.
I know, absolutely horrid. I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself, but I'm gonna actually
How far
sell this
how far
shut for
is
now, just so I don't
Kumejima?
bother the neighbors.
How far is Kumejima from the mainland Okinawa from Naha or there?
So we took a ferry yesterday, a 3.5 hour ferry,
Oh,
which we're
oh.
probably not going to do again because it was a little rocky. It's kind of a small boat, and so it wasn't ideal. But we're going to fly back, which is about a 35-minute flight. It's a puddle jumper, and Kumejima, of course, is where one of my close friends lives. So we're here to visit with my friend's family. And also, there are two Awamori distilleries here. One is Yoneshima, which we visited yesterday. And then the big boy Kumesen is here as well. And we're going to go there today to say hi and learn a little bit more about Awamori. But yeah, it's a great little, it's a little island. It's quite diminutive, and we're on the south shore. And it's funny because you know how it goes. There's like a strip of commerce, and then that's really the whole thing. At least down here, we're in a small town called Eve, and it's often spelled on maps in English Eefu, but it should be Iifu. I don't know how they screwed that up.
uh, that's
Because probably a lot of people pronounce it. People who know how to pronounce Japanese probably like, is it Efu? No, it's Ifu. Oh well,
yeah.
somebody dropped the
Hmm.
ball on that, but we've seen that
I
before. So
I remember you said you like to go to Okinawa in March because they don't have cedar trees to
that
set
is
off your
very
hay
correct.
fever.
That's exactly why I'm here. And according to the news, this year's pollen, um, the volume of pollen in the air from Sugi and probably also Hinoki as well at this point is 12 times what it was last year at this time. So I am extremely grateful to not be in Tokyo right now, where people are just there's a lot of new hay fever sufferers this year. Let's just put it that way. People who have never dealt with it before, the threshold has been pipped, and people are like,
Mm.
"Oh, this is horrible. Can't sleep, can't breathe, everything hurts." I'm like, "Yep, that's why I run away every year."
On a boat
So
to Okinawa.
on a get the hell out of Dodge. It's what the bravest of us do. Anyways, now I think we can move on to booze news. to bring some people up to speed on what is happening in the world. And forgive me, I am not an authority on this, and I don't know anyone who is, quite honestly, yet. But there have been some, as often happens in March, some rumblings of policy adjustments that will affect various licenses and license holders in the beverage alcohol world. And I don't know, Maya, if you could, what's your two-sentence summary of what has transpired, if you can be so bold?
Well, there was like a 14-page PDF that I
Okay.
briefly perused. But the
Mm-hmm.
only the only one I was really paying attention to was this one about spirits
Mm-hmm.
regulations and spirits other than rum and whiskey and gin, maybe. Like there's some new rule that they have to be below 30% ABV from April 1st through March 31st of next year, and then they can go up to 35%.
That's weird. Okay. So
So it's
they're
a very bizarre little rule. And so there would be some products that won't be allowed to be offered at whatever ABV that they're being sold out now, if it's like 40%. Like
huh.
one of our favorites, Rurikakesu rum, which
Yeah.
was surprising to all of us because it's a rum. And so it
Yeah.
should be exempt from this law. But apparently, the way that they're producing it is also no longer going to be classified as a rum. So it has to be in other spirits. So they
Huh.
have to reduce the ABV of what they're selling now to 30 to fit into this new rule, and then either change their process going forward so it's classified as a rum, or not really sure how they're going to handle that. They haven't
Wow.
really been, Takaoka Joso-san hasn't really said anything else much other than that, three of their products currently are no longer classified as rums after April 1st, and so they have to bring
That's
them down to
wild.
30% ABV.
I wonder why they're picking on rum. Who
I don't think
benefits from
they're
this?
I don't think they're picking on rum. I think it's just they kind of fell into maybe a, a gray area that didn't used to be gray.
Gray? Yeah, so there's a new gray territory that they found themselves in.
Yeah,
And now,
swampy
yeah,
a
so
swampy
more
muck.
red tape.
Yeah, so
Okay.
which is unfortunate and
Yeah.
quite sudden. Um, so so as we serve at my bar, we serve durikakus as well, and so we're like, oh, we better buy up all of the 40% durikakusu that we
There's
can
going to be a
find. And
run on 40%. Yeah.
so we stocked up on quite a few bottles already
Grab it
for
if you,
the
yeah,
month.
buy it if you can find it.
Yeah, because we
Rudy
serve it.
Takesu 40 is going the way of the dodo,
Yeah,
potentially.
so we serve it in one of our signature cocktails. So I was like, well, I want more of that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. Huh. Well, that's poopy.
yeah,
Hopefully we can get some more clarity on exactly what the intent behind these policies are, and hopefully not too many businesses see their products affected, their existing products affected. But only time will
yeah.
tell. The wording of the PDF, of course, was not for the lay person. So
No.
it was soupy and messy and mucky, and I think it's going to take a while for us to get the right people to have a look at it and find the
Yeah.
new
Well,
loopholes and
it's like
whatever.
it was like a before and after comparative PDF. So it
Uh-huh.
underlined what it used to say and then it underlined what it says now.
Okay.
So it was a comparative difference of what the law is now. But yeah, it was very kind of,
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah, fair
messy.
point.
If anyone likes
And
reading legal documents in Japanese, give us a shout. We'll send it over.
yeah, go ahead and send us your best crack at a translation, contextualized translation. Okay, well, yeah, that's certainly booze news. That's some of the more hard-hitting booze news we've had in a while, just simply because, of course, it affects, it affects people that we know.
Yeah,
And yeah, Takaoka Jozo down in the Amami Islands being a fantastic example of how somebody can get caught in the crossfire of policy tweaks. And anyway, um, thank you to all the pencil pushers for making people's livelihoods much more difficult for no
Yeah.
apparent reason. But we're going to
I
move
mean,
on. No,
and I'm
sorry, go
sure
ahead.
I'm sure there's some good things for companies in the
Oh,
policy changes as well
I
somewhere
hope
that
so.
we just
I hope so.
haven't heard about or we don't haven't realized. But I'm sure there's something. Fingers
I hope so.
crossed.
Yeah. All right. Well, time will hopefully tell. We're going to
Yeah.
move on to the next banner, and it is the uh, the the reason why we're here today, and of course, it's the main topic. And Maya has been very gracious to join us because she has some recent experience with
Yes.
quote unquote spring shochu, and
Yes.
I think people that have followed Shochu'sday for a while are familiar with summer shochu and blue bottles and that sort of thing.
Mm.
And so spring shochu might be a little bit new for some folks, and quite honestly, it's a little bit new for me. So I'm interested to hear what you have learned and what you feel the category is turning into.
So I changed my wall hanging to a spring. It's got some sakuras and some totoros on them, so
Nice.
thematic for the day. So the most the last weekend, third and fourth of the 3rd and 4th of March at Yataimura in
Hmm.
Kagoshima, the new Yataimura. They had
Hmm.
a 2-day event about called Satsuma Spirit. I don't know if you can see this on this glass. If I can put some pictures of it, so it says Satsuma
Satsuma
Spirit.
Spirit. Oh, okay. I think I've seen that online on Instagram or something. What did I do here?
Yes. Oh no, you disappeared.
What did I do?
So you turned off your camera,
Oh, geez.
probably.
How did I do that? Enter
So
studio. Doing this on my phone is not easy. I'm sorry. I'm
there's a
coming
there's a
back. Go
cam
ahead.
button on the bottom. So this is called Satsuma Spirit Yatai Mura Kagoma Yatai Mura. So, and this is a traditional oyuwari glass here
And I'm
down here
back
in
as a third
Kagoshima. It's got
person.
the oh, you've cloned yourself. Well done. So if you can, I guess I have to stick kind of got this crinkly piece of white paper so I can show you the bits and parts of glass. So if you can see on the glass, there's this memory. They call them memory. It's the lines of the how to measure your shochu to your water ratio. And this was a glass that was given if you attended and bought a ticket for the event on the 3rd and 4th of March. And it was a spring shochu event. So, spring shochu, there's a line of 13 this year products, and from 14 different companies. And they all come out on March 1st. And they're some of the bigger companies like Kojika or Mitake or um, some of the big. Oh, we've lost Christopher. Sorry, everyone. um, and they have pink, like sakura themed bottles, and they're released on March 1st. And it's actually a collaboration with a local liquor distribution company that's very big down here in Kagoshima, and it's their kikaku. So it's something they've put together, and then they release them all on March 1st. And the thing that's different about these shochus is that they've spent 150 days aged at the distillery. So that's about 5 months. So they were made in. Oh, you're back, I think.
I believe so.
But we
Sorry
can't hear
about that.
you. You're on mute.
Is this
Are
working?
you back?
Is it working? No?
No, no, it's not working.
Lovely.
You've gone and broken something.
Oh man.
Um, So I'm gonna keep on explaining while you figure yourself out. And so the spring shochu, March 1st, 150 days aged in the distillery. So they were made about 5 months ago. So by about October of last brewing season. So the they're not the unaged, they're not the shin shochu that comes out in autumn and winter. They're the spring shochu. They're the first release that comes out 150 days later. And there used to be a few more companies that were involved in it, but now there's 13 this year, and they're mostly the flagship brands. Um, you know, like I said before, like here you have your Kojika, your Mitake,
Check.
your there used to. Taikai, big, very big companies. It's the main brand or a version of the main brand that's got a new label that's got pink and sakura kind of flippers. So you can see that's very significantly spring. Are you back with us, Christopher? Can we
I
hear
have
you?
no idea.
We
Can you hear
cannot hear
me?
you. Right? Is it your?
Can you hear me
We hear
now?
you now. No, we don't
No?
hear you.
Why? This is wild.
You've gone and broken something.
What did I do?
Technical difficulties, everybody. Oh, someone can hear you. Anagman can hear
Somebody
you on
can hear me.
YouTube. I can't hear you.
Huh.
Oh.
That's
So
weird.
the viewers can hear you, but I can't hear you, which is silly.
That's hilarious. Well, see, yeah, this is what I get for
How does
trying to
that
do
work?
this on my iPhone.
Oh, so they can hear us both, but we can't hear each other. Can you hear me, Christopher?
Yes, I can
I
hear you.
can't hear you. That's not cool.
That's weird.
That is weird.
That doesn't make sense. Something got broken
Should
in
I
the
leave and come
Matrix.
back?
Maybe. Try that.
Maybe I'll
Yes,
leave and come
try that.
back. I think you're probably
Okay.
saying maybe. I'll be back.
Okay. She'll be back. Now I have to add her again. So I apologize everybody. This is the fun thing about usually it works on a cell phone, but clearly not today. Let's see, guess. Has she showed up yet? There she is. Let's add her, add to stream. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay,
Look,
so something
you
weird
broke
happened.
you broke not only yourself, you broke mine. That's weird. You have the superpower.
That's what I can do. I am a show stopper. Um, in so many different ways. I'm multifaceted. I'm sorry, I interrupted your explanation of the 150 days post season for spring
Yes.
Shochu. Is that right?
Yes. So it's actually a kikaku. So I think you were not on when I said it. It's a kikaku by Nankyu, Minami Kyushu Shuhan, which
Okay.
is one of the major liquor distributors down here in
Yeah.
Kagoshima. And it's their kikaku. It's their kind of
Huh.
event is not the word, but it's something that they've put together for a few years. And
Okay.
so it says on the bottle it's produced by the Satsuma Imo Shochu Seisansha Kyokai. The Satsuma
Okay.
Imo Shochu producers, not the Shochu
Associate.
Makers Association. It's not the Shochu Makers Association. It's a different group. It's like the
It's a different.
cooperative.
Hmm.
But and if you go to their homepage, it says on the bottom that they're run by Minami Kyushu Shuhan, which everyone knows that this spring shochu is run by them. So it's the big makers, a bunch of the big makers that are working with Nankyu that use this spring shochu. And so
Gotcha.
at Yataimura, going back to the beginning of the story, they had this event last weekend and they had all the makers. They had a maker, one person from each of the 13 makers who have a spring shochu out this season, and
Uh-huh.
you could buy a pre-sale ticket was 1,300 yen, and then regular on the day was 1,500 for 3 drinks and a commemorative cup
And a glass.
and glass, which is important. And then it was just you could drink it however you wanted. You could. I have a couple friends who did very well for themselves, and they did all 13 on the day or the 2 days, which was just a lot.
Ambitious.
And then and then on the Sunday, the next day was the Kagoshima Marathon. So there were a lot of people in town. So I think the people who were actually planning to run went on Friday, and the people who were just hanging out went on Saturday.
Gotcha.
Because Marathon had Sunday.
Was there anything, and I apologize if I have missed this, so there's 13 makers involved. Is there some theme
this year.
other than this year? Okay. Other than spring being the season, is there some other thematic, um, is there something thematically that's similar about these drinks that they brought, or?
Well, it's
Not
it's mostly the flagship brands or like the Kuro version of the flagship brand. So I think for all of them except Ogatama, it's the main. I mean, if you saw it, be like, oh, I recognize that. It's, I think did I don't know if I don't think I can share my no.
You can't?
I don't think I have that option. But the labels are pinker, sakura versions of the regular labels.
pinker and sakura. That makes
Yes.
sense. Okay. That's kind of what I figured. I figured they were going to pick a color, and pink with sakura makes a lot of sense to me. So, okay.
Yeah. So some
Gotcha.
of them are like the one we have the Mitake one at Roku. So I see look at it every day, and it's a little bit more green and a little bit more pink. Like the mountains have gotten some pink on them. But it's the regular Mitake that's just been aged 150 days. And so people are like, well, what is that compared to the regular? The regular ones are aged a little bit longer usually, um,
Okay.
maybe 6 months or a year. So I
So
think
it's a
they're a
the youngest.
slightly younger version, but it's not a shinshu, right? They have been aged about 4 or 5 months.
Okay. That's interesting.
So they say it takes out the ara it takes out the kind of funkiness, a little bit of the shinshu. It's kind of mellowed out. And they think that that's the best, according to their uh, written information that they put on to
5 month
public their
old.
PR words. Yeah,
Yeah. According to the propaganda A4
yeah.
sheet. Okay, that's interesting. And I know that I've seen those pink bottles before, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I've tried them. So they're not a Shinshu, but they're a young expression of mainly flagship brands.
Yeah.
Pink is the color of choice on either. Is it the labels? Is it dipped glass? Are they pink
No, no, no.
pink
It's
dipped?
the regular Isho bean or the 900s, and it's just the labels are different. There's a couple that are like the Hinata Yama one is very significantly different label. It's like
Okay.
it's black with pink trees. It's one of my favorite ones because it just looks cool. Um, Most of them are just like the Taikai, I think, and the Kojika are just pinker versions of the regular labels. There
That's
used to
interesting.
be like Komasa Kuro, Kozuru Kuro used to be in the lineup, and they stopped participating and they stopped making it. So there are some changes over the years of which makers participate. But this year
Hmm.
there's 13. And some of them are only available in the 900 milliliter size. And then some of them sell both the 1.8s and the 900. So it depends on the maker. And then it's very limited release. It's not a huge production run, and it's only they go on sale every year on March 1st. And
Okay.
there's two other products that I think that go also on sale on March 1st.
Mhm.
They're seasonal, but I wouldn't call them spring shochu in the same way I would refer to the Nankyu ones as spring shochu. Do you know which ones I'm talking about? What goes
I
on
do
sale
not.
on March 1st? So the first one is Nakamura's Kame Sennin Blue Bottle,
Oh, okay.
which is from our friend Shinya Nakamura, and
Mm,
it's his regular Kame Sennin comes in a green bottle, and if you're a friend of Dragon Ball, that's Kame Sennin. Kame Sennin sort of comes from the guy with the shell on his back, but it's a different Kame. It's a Kame means pot and not turtle.
not
Um,
terrible.
and so that there's no copyright infringement there. Um, and so his blue bottle, which uses the rice from Kobayashi, I think, in Miyazaki, right? I think that's the name
Yeah,
of
I
the
think you're right.
yeah. Comes in the Genshu version, which is a dark blue bottle, which is 37 or 38%. Bless you. And
Thank you.
then the light blue bottle is the 25, the regular 25%. So there's two versions of his Kamisenin blue bottle, and they're always released on March 1st of every year.
Yeah.
And those are very, very good. And I recommend
Uh-huh.
if you spot one, get your hands on it, buy
If you
it,
can
drink
find it at very limited
it.
number of
Very
places,
limited.
yeah, you
Yes,
can't really find it. And a lot of places will limit you to one bottle per person, one
yes,
1.8 person. So,
various. And then there's another one that comes out also on March 1st, and it's Kiroi Tsubaki from our friends Yashioden, which
right.
uses an Anno Imo, which is a variety of sweet potato originating in Tanegashima Island in Kagoshima. And it's very famous for using as a roasted sweet potato. Anno Imo. It's
They're
got an
delicious.
orangier center. They're a little bit smaller. And Kiroi Tsubaki is he changed the label this year. It used to be a little bit a white label with the yellow flowers, but now it's a yellow label with the yellow flowers. It's very yellow. He's gone with
Okay.
his theme and he's went for it. So it's Kiroi Tsubaki. Tsubaki is the camellia. They're famously known as red flowers, but there's I guess a yellow version.
Huh.
And I think Kiroi Tsubaki uses Kikoji as well, right?
I think you're right.
Yes, that's why yellow. So also very good if you can get your hands on it, if you can find it, if you're here in Japan.
And I never have been able to. I've been able to find the blue bottle Kame Sennin before, but I've never
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Out in the wild?
I'll tell you privately where I found it in the past. I don't want to let that information out publicly.
I mean, I can give you a couple others. I know what you're like.
Oh, cool.
And then another March release. This year's came out last Friday, the 10th. I want to say it's the 10th.
Oh, there he is. The flamingo.
The flamingo. This is last year's bottle that I just haven't opened yet. But the Kokubushizo's Flamingo Orange. First release of the year every year in March, the first or second Friday of March. Huge release, huge. Everyone's excited to see the flamingos for the year.
Yeah.
And most places, even Kosedo now, will only sell it to you if you've reserved it in advance. And for you to be eligible to reserve it in advance, you have to have bought X amount of money of other products at their store.
Oh, that in America we can't do that. That's illegal. But that I wish we could do that. That's fantastic.
So it's so popular that even in the biggest liquor store here in Kagoshima City, you can't just walk in and
you can't just waltz in and grab it. Yeah. And they'll often, like, one thing that also tickles me is when they tether another bottle to it. Like, they literally tether a bottle to it so that you have to buy them both at the same time. You get one thing that you want and one thing that you didn't intend on purchasing in order to get the thing that you want. That's another thing we can't do in the States. But
it's a gift set.
It is a gift set. It's like, you pay more money and you buy bottles, and you should feel like you received a present.
That's you just have to put them in the same box, and then it's
love it.
You have to buy the two.
You could do that. I have seen them like literally lashed together. I'm sure you've seen this, where they actually take the white string and lash the two together. It's like, oh,
that's what they're called. Dakiawase. They've been hugged together.
Dakiawa. Love it, man. Yeah, some of the stuff you can do over here is very cool.
Yeah.
At the same time, it could probably be abusive in some ways.
The premium ones, the ones that are very popular, that are even like Mitake for a while used to be like that. Before you could.
Before you could find it everywhere.
Yeah, your small bottles of Mao, and
those were
or always, you can never buy them
on their own. Yeah, they were always.
If you see them as a single, it's way overpriced. It's fantastically overpriced. If you wanted to buy it at retail, you have to buy it with like 3 other things.
Yeah, right. And that still to a certain extent happens today. You do see that a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, it's so funny.
So, anyway, this was our friend Flamingo. Flamingo comes out again, theoretically, probably in June. But for the first, so it only comes out in March and June. So if you bought it in March and June last year, you've probably run out of it. So everyone's excited for the March release, and then less so for the June release.
Yeah, they've done a really good job with that brand. I'm impressed.
And then they've got the Cool Mint comes out. The Penguin one comes out in April, and then Sunny Cream comes out. The Magnolia one comes out the month after, in May, theoretically, if everything's on usual.
Yeah.
So everyone's excited for the birds to flock in.
That's a good insider info, Maya. I appreciate that, and I think everybody who's watching this will appreciate that too. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So if you want to get your hands on Kokubu's birds series, I call them the Suntory series. It's 3 birds, not related to Suntory at all.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. So if you want to get your hands on them, if you know that they're coming out in March and April and May, you can if you're in Japan, because if obviously if you're in Japan, you can reach out to Kokubushizo and ask them for their contract liquor stores in your area around the world, wherever not around, wherever in
Around.
Japan you are, and they'll give you a list of who they retail to in your area, and then you can kind of ring them up maybe and see if you can make a reservation or something in advance, and then you don't have to be scrambling around once they're already sold out. So I do suggest if you want to get your hands on them to do so well in advance, to get your research in so you're not missing out.
Yeah, go sign up for the newsletter, do whatever you need to do to get on the radar, and spend enough money there in advance, because it seems like they're keeping track. They know they have something valuable, and they're gonna leverage it to pump their own business, which is smart. So
yeah, I think in places that aren't Kagoshima, you'll probably maybe you won't have to spend X amount of money, or it won't be hugged together with something else, because it's not maybe as well known and won't be flying off the shelves as much as it does down here. But so if you can get it outside of Kagoshima, it might actually be easier to get your hands on if you know where to look.
Yeah, and it's funny because there's I know izakaya up in Tokyo who will do annual pilgrimages down to Kagoshima in the spring just to scrounge and see what they can grab. They aren't yet in the queue. They're not in the pecking order for having access to allocations of some of these shochu that they want. So they go down to put in the FaceTime, make sure that the makers know who they are, that they care, that they're trying really hard far away in Tokyo. And then eventually you get on the list and you're allowed to buy a few bottles of it when it's available and have them shipped directly to you. So it's a process. And joints that have places that have these bottles, there's probably in a lot of cases there's a personal connection there behind it, and that whoever is involved cared enough to go and make that connection. But it took a face-to-face meeting in most cases.
I won't say the number of cases that we have of this product in our bar, but we have them by the case.
Yeah, you're one of the few.
Yeah. So we don't run out throughout the year.
That ain't normal. Yeah. So
we don't run out. You can still drink a flamingo at our bar in December, which is not the case in most places.
That's not normal. No.
Yeah. Our allotment is significant.
Yeah, and that wasn't an overnight thing, right? That's a long-standing relationship that so you're at the front of the line in terms of you can pretty much almost get what you ask for, but there are very few accounts that have that.
Same with our stock of your favorite Manazuru.
Yeah, I know you guys have I always know where to go. Never an issue if I want to drink that.
Never out of Manazuru. Never.
Yeah, jeez. There are a few better things in life than never being out of Manazuru.
Yeah. So anyone ever wants to try it. Yeah.
So thank you very much for the that was a fantastic spring shochu, etc. Talk that involved lots of spring release shochu that maybe aren't necessarily part of the pink crew. But it's good for people to know this, I think, and it is very, very quietly, it's a quietly kept secret, that there are a lot of shochu that are released in the spring these days, new bottlings that have really just come out, and that's not common knowledge, certainly not in Tokyo, and I'm sure not overseas either.
Yeah, I mean, could mention Manzen An's Nishiki came out recently as well. Their new version of Noroshi came out. So there's a lot of stuff that if there's lots of new products coming out all year round. You just have to realize that this is new so you have to pay attention on social media or pay attention, whatever, where you get your newsletters or whatever. So there's lots of stuff coming out. Can't keep track.
Yeah, you just have to be tuned into all of these different information sources. There's no one fire hose of information. It is really drips and drops from all different directions.
Yeah.
And it's hard to keep tabs on. But thank you for coming by Show
Yeah.
Tuesday to make sure that all of our viewers have some access to that information. Very helpful.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any newly opened or any bottle kills to announce,
No.
but I'm in a hotel, so
No.
I don't.
I
No, nothing.
don't
Okay.
drink at home. I recently opened this bottle of vegetable juice this morning.
Okay. And I recently opened this bottle of Tansan. So, all right, there we go. There's our newly opened.
Sorry,
And
everyone.
I think that'll do it for this edition of Show Tuesday. So, thank you for joining us, Maya.
Yeah.
This was very
It was lovely
educational, very
lovely to see
informative.
you.
Yeah, lovely to see you too. And
And
I'm not sure when I'm going to be back down in Kagoshima. I'm not going to be back down in Kagoshima anytime soon, unfortunately. So,
well,
uh,
you've got a busy March. You've got your Hanami coming up.
yeah,
This is the
Hanami on the
glass.
20.
This is the glass you gave me at your Hanami the last time.
Oh yeah, the last one before the pandemic. So that would have
Yeah.
been 2019. That's 4 years old.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
nice. Well, I'm glad you still have it and actually use
And
it.
I'm having a mini Hanami with my Totoros. Yeah.
Excellent. Yep. Well, I will talk to you on Discord, I think. And
Yes.
otherwise, to everybody out there, everywhere around the world, thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Show Tuesday. We'll be back next time, same place. Of course, because of, and somebody, I think Mark mentioned this, because of daylight savings or whatever, daylight losings in
Oh,
the United States, the hour shifted
screaming ahead.
again, which it does twice a year. So I think we're at 9 p.m. start on the East Coast rather than 8 p.m. start on the East Coast. So hopefully people don't show up to, well, they'll get the archive if they show up in about
Sorry, we
25.
missed you.
Yeah, everybody who makes it this far, everybody here live, and everybody on archive, from both of us here in Japan, various parts of Japan, to all of you out around the world, a very hearty and heartfelt kanpai.